All right, this is my 2005 Scion TC. I'm gonna do a little walk around video, kind of explaining everything I've done to the car so far. Right now, as it sits, I haven't done a whole lot, but I've done enough to feel like I can justify doing a walk around, maybe to I don't know, give people ideas on what they can do to their Scion, or I don't know, just being a Scion enthusiast in general. I don't consider myself a Scion enthusiast. I kind of just got this car and then started to learn more about it as I got it. So I'm gonna do a quick explaining and walk through of every little thing that I did. First thing to start off with, this is a 2005 Scion TC. People say that the 2005-ish model is one of the best models, and they say that the older, or yeah, the later models, every year past 2005 started to get worse and worse for some reason. I don't really know what that's all about. I don't know if that means a decrease in reliability or just overall the aesthetic of the car. I don't know. I know some of the body elements change as the years go on, ever so slightly. But as it sits, this is a 2005 Scion TC. I'm trying to work around this puddle here, but it looks cool for a video. So what we got going on in the front end of the car is I have this car on, I believe they're 17 by 7s. These are 5 Ziggin racing wheels. I got these wheels for $100. So apparently, these are really more rare, expensive wheels. I could be 110% wrong, but I saw these for sale on Facebook Marketplace for $100. The kid said he knew nothing about them. He got them originally from, I don't know, some old guy or something like that, and he was going to put them on his Honda, but it ended up being the wrong bolt pattern. These are a 5x100. I don't know what a bolt pattern is on some Civics, but these are 5x100. Apparently, and don't quote me, but I saw these wheels online back in the day. These were the wheels that people used to run back in the early 2000s. 5 Ziggin used to be it's still relevant now, but I think it was more relevant back in the late 90s and earlier to mid 2000s, the whole 5 Ziggin racing team stuff. But these wheels, I saw them for sale, $100. Kid didn't know what he had. I think someone would have offered more if he actually listed the wheels as what they are, because I saw them and I'm like, oh, those are really interesting, but he just had them listed as 17 by 7, 5x100s, and I'm like, well, that's kind of what I need. And then the more I started looking at them, I started doing research. It has a sticker right here that I'll show you in a second, and it says Ziggin Racing Fighter Wheel. That guy was flying. So these are Ziggin Racing Fighter wheels. So the stickers that are on them are essentially the stickers that you got when you bought the wheels back in the day. It came with a little pack of stickers. So these are Ziggin Racing Fighter wheels. I have 3 of the 4 center caps that came with them. I went to go see if I can find a 4th one, and it was $90, and it was some black market website that I just did not trust. I can't find anything for these wheels or any information about these wheels. The last time I saw a post about these wheels on a forum was from 2007 to 2009, talking about them, and at the time people were trading them around for $800, $900. I saw people selling a set of 4 of these wheels for sale back in 2004, and they sold for I don't know if this is true. Obviously, it's probably fake and the number just looks screwed up, but between $2,000 to $10,000 in Euro money. I don't think that's true. I mean, it could be true. Maybe I just have the most expensive wheels and I just don't know anything about them. I doubt it, but maybe, I don't know, but whatever. I got my lug nuts. They're red lug nuts. They are off of eBay, of course, because I had a little eBay, it was Amazon, I think I got the lug nuts off of. I had a little Amazon gift card. So I bought a set of eBay, Amazon red lug nuts, just a little red accent, complement, whatever, just to kind of go with the whole aesthetic of the car with the red, the white, the silver, the gray, and kind of pull all the colors together a little bit. The tire size I have on the wheels right now are 225 45, I believe. Yes, 225 45 17. They're Firehawk Indy 500s. They're decently consistent tires, but they're not exactly the best tires when it comes in terms of performance. There's a lot better tires out there. They're just really consistent. They last really long. They are considered like a summer performance tire, but they're not exactly the best like track tire you can be on. They're just kind of a good all-around tire, and not even for good all around like all season, like good all around on drive pavement. They last pretty long. They had it in the size that I wanted, and I mean they're okay for the money. They're probably one of the better ones you can get for the money. They're a 340 tread wear, so they're not like anything crazy. They're just a generic, good, decent all-around street tire. But like I said, these are 17 by 7s. I have another set of wheels for this car that are 17 by 7.5. And the reason for that is because I wanted a different tire for the track. I wanted to run a 235/40/17 to bring down the overall ratio a little bit, to maybe give me a little bit more gear. Also, I wanted to have a little bit more contact patch on the ground, thus the 235. They have a little bit more negative offset too, so they kind of go out a little farther. It might give the car a little bit more track width. Those are NK wheels. I don't know what type of NK wheels they are, but the tires are the Federal Super Steel Street SS's, which are the cheapest performance tire that you can buy. I think they're like a 240 tread wear maybe. I know they're below 300. I think they're like a 240 tread wear. They're like a street tire. They are definitely more grippier than this, but they aren't as consistent the hotter they get, I've noticed. They're the cheapest performance tire I could buy. I think it was literally like $70 a tire. So literally the cheapest tire I can buy for that size for a 235/40/17. It makes the car sit a little bit lower too, so that kind of helps. But yeah, I'll show you the wheels really quick. All right, so this is them. This is what they look like. I'm doing this with the tripod in my hand. So they're pretty good. They got the fighter sticker on them. They look good, nice and silver, clean. There's a car coming, and I'm gonna look so awkward. There's a car coming. Whenever there's a car coming, I literally just pretend like I don't exist. This is the quietest road that I could find. Usually I would go down the street from my house, but there's people there today. So this is literally the quietest road I could find. And every single time a car comes, I'm just gonna pretend I'm doing something inside my car so they don't watch me as I cringily take a video of my own car, because it is weird. But yeah, so this is what they look like. Ugh, the camera angle, I know, I'm still on the tripod, that's why. But yeah. All right, now that we got the kind of wheel situation out of the way, let's talk about the decals and stuff really quick. These I just installed. These are just vinyl. I got a whole like vinyl sheet off of eBay, Amazon. I don't know, it's one of them. I feel like eBay and Amazon kind of go like hand in hand nowadays. Amazon, I got like vinyl sheets off it, and I ended up cutting them into squares. And I wanted to do like a kind of like a two-tone overlay, you know, modern day, you know, quirky, cool race car thing. I do want to get like the thinner, like kind of moldable vinyl strips I can buy, like the whole spool of it. And I want to do like a kind of little, you know, decal edge along the edge, maybe like a black or something, I don't know, just to kind of give it a little bit more definition. So it's just, because right now this looks a little plain. There's nothing wrong with that, but just to give it a little bit more definition, maybe I'll do some like, you know, accents on the corner or something like that. I don't know. I want to get a magnetic sticker. The Celica does not have a magnetic sticker. It has a vinyl sticker, so I can't take it off or change it. And I was thinking about that, like I should just take my magnetic stickers off and just put them in each car instead of just have permanent ones. Because if I ever wanted to change a number, or if somebody else is running the same number or something like that, I could always just change it. So yeah, I am gonna get the magnetic overlay decal number racing cool thing. eventually, but they're like $70 per, which is insane because it's just a magnet. But I don't know. It's like I'd be literally spending $120 in magnets, which is ridiculous. These right here, it's a shame that actually got faded. Actually, it looks like Firestone patina, so that actually looks pretty cool now. I just got generic, TRD Racing, EBC brakes. I originally had EBC brakes in the car. That's why I have the sticker. I had the EBC yellow stuff pads on the front and just generic cheap pads on the rear. Now I'm running, I don't know the brand. I'd have to look it up, but it was a wicked high performance company or something that specializes in brakes that I've never heard of before. But apparently they make brakes pads, like really good ones for this car, and I ended up buying them. They were $150 a side, which isn't that bad considering what they are. These brake pads are like concrete until they warm up and get really grippy. They work really good though. They're super consistent, zero fade. They're like literally amazing pads. But I used to have EBC brakes. That's why I have the EBC decal on the door. TRD Racing, stuff like that. Nothing crazy. I do want to, the deal what I'm doing with that is every single time I get like a part that I buy or I change a part on the car, I want to get that manufacturer's decal and put it on the side like they used to do back in the day, back in the 90s, early 2000s era, where they used to list the decals on the side of the door just to make the car look a bit more period correct. That reminds me, these wheels, let me explain one more thing about these wheels while I'm talking about being period correct. These wheels haven't been on a car since 2002, and I believe and the reason why I figured this, the reason why I think I know this, is because the DOT on the tires that it came off them were from 2002, and they were really dry rotted, really cracked, smelled like kind of like that musty like basement or like shed garage smell. Like it had so these things have been sitting in a shed or garage for years, and the last DOT on the tire was from 2002. So chances are, and they were a very they were a performance-esque tire size too. I think they were actually the same size as the ones that were on there now, but they were like a Dunlop or something like that. But yeah, like track tires. So they were really worn out and whatever. They do what's interesting about it is these offsets match more of a Subaru WRX, if anything. These wheels could have either came off a Subaru WRX or this car, or like a Scion TC back in 2002. Actually, no, Scion TC didn't exist back in 2002, so it couldn't have been a TC. It had to have been, it probably came off a Subaru. These wheels probably came off a Subaru WRX back in the day back in the day, a 2002 Subaru WRX would have been brand new, but the offset and the I don't remember exactly what I think it's like a positive 38 or something like that. I don't know, but close to Subaru specifications. I could be wrong. Because there weren't many cars back in the day that would be running a set of wheels like this. That's another reason why I wanted to buy the wheels too, is because they were more period correct for like the earlier mid 2000s era. So I feel like it just kind of makes the whole car, kind of come together a little bit. So that's another reason why I ended up getting these wheels for the car, and I thought they looked pretty good too. What else do we have going on here? Decal vinyl number 12. Number 12 is my number, so that is why you will probably see 12 on everything. I always run 12. No, I don't know anything about football, and Tom Brady is really not anyone that's important to me. I just like the number 12. The red on the bottom, I actually put these on not the right way. These little stripes, the little tire track marks going along the door are supposed to be, I got these on eBay for, I think they were like $9. and they were really cheap, but it took me I had to like put them in the microwave to warm them up to get them to stick to the car. But once they did, they're on there now, so that's pretty good. So I think I got these for like literally like $9-10 or some ridiculously cheap price. And the way eBay described it is that they're actually supposed to go on the other way. They're supposed to start on the front of the fender and like kind of do like a streamlined look back. But I said, you know what? I'm going to turn them the other way, and then I'm going to cut them short so it only goes to the bottom part of the little door jamb right here in the front. So I feel like that just looks better, in my opinion. So usually on like the TRD models of these cars, they have, if you know anything about Toyota, there's stripes on the TRD logo itself. Maybe I'll put like an insert overlay to show you what I'm talking about. I don't know if there's people coming. I feel really awkward. I cannot talk in front of people at all. I really just would prefer to, oh, there's a guy coming. I actually hate talking on a camera in front of people. It is so cringy to me. I don't know how everybody on YouTube thinks that it's like, everyone is just way too comfortable about it, and it creeps me out because I wouldn't want someone with a camera like constantly just like talking, pretending as if it's normal, because I just feel like it's not. But anyway, let's get back to the car. Decals, yes, I felt like they looked better going the opposite direction, and like I said before, I'll show you the little TRD like overlay to see what like the TRD logo looks like. So it just kind of resembles that, and I wanted it to give it like an OEM plus kind of look. Like, so in my opinion, if they made this car have like a performance package from the factory, I would want something like this. I like, you know, if it had like a factory decal or something like that, that gave it this kind of look, to make it give it like that OEM plus kind of look. So that's another reason why I wanted to do that. And I mean, it's holding up decently. I mean, it's not terrible. I installed these on a windy day. The car was a little dirty. You know, this car isn't about being perfect. I just try and do my best with what I have with it. I try and do everything as cheap as possible. But I mean, it looks good. They were a lot like redder before. They were more like this red before, but they did fade over time. It's cheap vinyl, so I'm not really too concerned about it, you know, especially if someone on the racetrack decides to like door ding me or hit me or something. So yeah, I'm not too concerned about it. This is what I got going on in the back of the car. I'm Italian, so you know you got to represent a little bit. I got my little Italian sticker right there. You can completely ignore that. You know, generic. I think this is a actual functional third brake light or like hazard area. I don't think this actually works, which I should check to make sure it does. That's completely stock. I have this little, I cut this out myself, and it looks fine. This car used to have like one of those sticker overlays where it says Scion TC, like as a bumper guard, and it was so scratched. It was disgusting. It was gross. So I tried removing it myself with like brake clean and stuff, and it just would not come off. And I actually started to end up wiping the paint off. So what I did, which I'll show you in a second, I'll show you right now actually, I ended up getting like a piece of sticker carbon fiber and cutting it to shape and using it as like an overlay over the back. And as you can see, that's where I started to rub the paint off. But I felt like that it just, you know, I'll make something myself instead of having to pay to get that cleaned or removed or whatever, because it was just stuck on there. It looked terrible. I don't know how stuff like that gets that bad. Who is like, it's like someone's like dragging cleats over the back of it constantly, and they're so scratched. It's like, how can the whole car not be, like, what are you putting in the back of this that is scratching that so bad every single time? It's like someone's moving furniture in it every single day. It's crazy. The body kit, I never talked really about the body kit, but I'll start from the rear part of the body kit. This is a factory body kit, but it's a factory body kit in the sense of, I don't see too many of these body kits. It's like a, I wouldn't say performance. Is that a car coming? It is a car coming. Everyone run. This road is supposed to be quiet. This is just a service road. So many people have been using this road. This road used to never be used, ever. I used to come here all the time, and there'd be no one here for hours. So it's crazy how many people are coming here. Back to the car. So, body kit. This is a from the factory plus body kit. I don't know, I don't see, every single time I see one of these for sale on Facebook Marketplace or wherever, I never see any of these with this body kit. So this is the regular bumper cover, but then over the top of the factory bumper cover, it has these like lips all the way around, and I'll show you the other side of the car and the front of the car when we get to that side. But yeah, it's got like, it gives it like that more like aggressive like edge to it. But I never see any of them with it. So it's like completely rare because my girlfriend has a Scion TC, and I was looking to see if I could get the same body kit for her car. So I looked at like Pick and Pull and stuff like that to see all the junked ones, and none of them have them. None of the ones on Facebook Marketplace have them. So I guess I just have a model with this body kit from the factory. I guess it was like a higher end version. I don't know, whatever. But I still have the factory wing. I don't know if I want to get rid of this wing or I want to get a like an eBay Amazon one, but I don't want to get like an eBay Amazon one that has like the aluminum just the aluminum strut rods with the thing, and it just looks ugly and really extra ricey. Like, yeah, it could be more period correct that way. I still get the whole, like, you know, I don't think anyone says ricey anymore, or ricer. But I get the whole, you know, I don't want to make it look too ricey, but, you know, I want it to look uniform, period correct, but also a tiny bit more tad modern too. I don't know, just a little bit all around, I don't know. So I'm still looking into wings. We're going to see. My girlfriend ended up buying a wing for her car. We're going to test fit it on her car first to see what it looks like. And then I'll see if maybe I want to buy one that's similar to put on my car. I still don't know. I really like the APR like drag wing style where it kind of goes around, and an OEM factory like low-level rise spoiler from these looks similar to that. They're just a little shorter and more OEM looking. The APR would just be like more of an aggressive looking version of that, and it's obviously more expensive. But I don't know if I want to buy like a $900, $1,100 wing for a car that costs not that much. So yeah, I'm thinking about it, but I don't know. I have my little TRD antenna. Got this off of Amazon, really cheap. I think it was like 20 bucks maybe. It says TRD on it. It's got like a little carbon fiber deal going on the top. It's good. I like it. It's the short stubby one instead of the one that goes up to here that makes it look like an RC car. So that's good. I did get some of this stuff right here. This is like trim. It's supposed to be a bumper brush guard, so you don't scrape your bumpers. It acts as like a little, you know, in between. But I ended up cutting it and screwing it and taping it to the bottom here to give it like a little accent lip. Also, these are little corner spats that I think I got these for like less than 20 bucks. I think these were like $15. They're supposed to be little front splitter things. I ended up putting them on the back and turning them around, and I tried to align them as close as I could to the body to make it look like a more aggressive, you know, sharper edge to the body, just to give it a little bit more definition instead of just, like, I like the way this car looked from the factory, I do. I just wanted to give it like a tiny bit more, just a little bit more style in the department. That's really it. Also, I have these little fender spats right here. They don't do anything. They're really flimsy, but I just wanted to make it look like a race car. So there you go. It does, you can't really see it right now, obviously. That is, I think, like a 2.5 inch, 2 3/4, maybe a 3-inch tip. I don't know. It's got a full custom exhaust on it. It's not just the tip or a muffler or a cat back or a mid-pipe back. It's a header back. It's got an, I'll show you underneath the hood in a second. It's got an eBay header. I believe I got the header for like $90. It was like, I think it was like $97, whatever. catless header for this engine. Originally, I had that header bolted to the stock exhaust. If you know anything about these cars, the flange for the catalytic converter on the exhaust manifold rots out. So my exhaust literally just fell off. So I got the cheapest header I could find, threw the cat out. I still need to put the O2 extenders on it, so I don't have to check engine light anymore. And my inspection's due in a month, so don't tell anybody. So I have an eBay header on I got for $97. I had it put on an exhaust shop for like, they made a pipe for the car for like $100 to weld it and bolt it to the factory exhaust system on the car. I had the factory exhaust system on the car for like the longest time. And I mean, it didn't sound any different. It did sound a little like higher zingy because of the fact that it was going through a factory muffler with no cat as like a baffle. So it did give it like a zingy sound, which I wasn't a fan of, but it wasn't terrible. It was still very quiet at the end of the day. Does it give the car more horsepower now that it has a full exhaust system? It's a full stainless steel exhaust system now from the front to the back. It's got a resonator and a Borla muffler on it. So it's 2.5 inch straight all the way back, no cats. So it's not that loud. It's got a little bit of raspy zinginess at around 2,500 to 3,000 RPMs. Once you get past the Honda stage and you get into your, your higher res, it sounds like not aggressive, but like sharp enough to where it's not super ricey. It's got a nice low end rumble. It's not bad. I wish there was a way I could get rid of that zinginess. I don't know. I actually don't mind. When I first got it, I'm like, ugh, I don't know how I feel about it. But the zinginess kind of grew on me because it reminds me of like all the older Hondas and Toyotas back in the day. I remember I originally got a cheap eBay exhaust for this car. I bolted it on. It sounded absolutely awful. I hated it. It was a Spec D tuning. So you already know, if you know anything about Spec D tuning, it's pretty much the cheapest, crappiest, like, eBay junk you can buy. But it was cheap. I wanted to see how it worked. I just ended up returning it and getting my money back anyway. It didn't sound bad in all the videos. In all the videos I listened to it, it didn't sound bad at all. The reason why it sounded bad when I put it on my car is because I wasn't running a catalytic converter. The catalytic converter in the videos that I saw acted as a resonator or like a baffle. So it gave it like a deep, aggressive tone. When I put it on my car, it was zing, ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, that is awful. That's terrible. I don't want that. So I ended up returning it, and it was just disgusting. I hated it. But yeah, so does it give an extra bit of horsepower with no cat and the full exhaust? Yeah, I'd say it gives it about like, it might, without a tune, I'd say it gave it like probably like 5-6 horsepower. It feels a little more peppier. It doesn't feel crazy, but it's not bad. So let's go to the other side. Also, this car, when I got it, is tinted. I didn't tint the car. This is the tint that came on the car. The front windows are tinted to match the rear and the rear glass too. But yeah, so essentially we got the same deal going on here on this side of the car. Got the little spats in the corner right there. Got the little flares, wheels, same deal. I have this car fully detailed recently, so that's why it looks cleaner than usual. I did get my Raceland decal. I got my Scion Racing sticker. I got that for cheap on Amazon, eBay. I did get 2 of them. I screwed up the other side, ended up throwing it out. I went to go get another one, and they returned they refunded me the money, and then they shut down the store that I bought them from, so I can't find them anymore. So I have one on this side. So that's cool. Let's talk about, what did I want to talk about? Let's talk about, let's go to the front of the car. All right, here we are at the front of the vehicle. As you can see, there's a hole in my hood. Let me just break that off really quick before I talk about the hole in my hood. I ended up cutting this hole in this hood by myself. I wanted to kind of I did it for both style and performance. Whether or not I get any performance out of it, whatever. There is more airflow going through the grill that's just not hitting the firewall anymore, and hopefully the hood scoop is allowing it to kind of escape the engine bay now, so you can say I'm a little more aerodynamic. Who knows if that's doing anything at all. Maybe the radiator, it gives extra cooling in the engine bay to let all the heat escape and whatever. Maybe, who knows, I don't know. It probably doesn't do anything at all. But you know, I ended up cutting it to shape roughly with an angle grinder, and it came out really straight. I Gorilla Glued, like I cut vacuum hose in half, and I Gorilla Glued it to the edges so you don't actually kill yourself and, you know, make yourself bleed out all over the car, because that would look awful on white paint. So I cut the vacuum line in half, Gorilla Glued it on, good to go. Now we got a hood scoop, and it's all screwed down. Windshield wiper blade nonsense, that's all factory. I do want to put they sell them on eBay or Amazon. Again, I don't know the difference between them anymore. It could be eBay or Amazon, where it says Toyota Racing Development. It's a red sticker decal overlay. If I can find it, I'll show you guys it, or I'll put a link down. I don't know if anyone cares. Yeah, but there is I do want to put something on this is not a convertible. It's it's like a moon roof, but it's not a moon roof. It goes up, but then this part goes up as like a wind deflector, so it's like a two-piece glass. This is glass, this is glass, this is glass. There's a lot of glass on the roof of this car. So this part moves up, and then there's like a rear glass for the back of the car that you can slide forward. Then this glass piece right here comes up as like a wind deflector to stop the wind from going into the car. But this piece comes up right here, and I want to put like something on that piece of glass. I don't know if it's like, you know how everyone in the tuner culture nowadays like does the cursive letter of their name, or like, you know, it says tuned in low with like really sharp cursive letter. I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe I'll like put my last name on it, or like I'll just wrap it in red. I don't know. Maybe I'll do something just to give it some kind of design. Maybe, I don't know. But I do want to get a windshield banner after I get it inspected, of course. This is the factory tow hook. I thought it looked good. I'm getting a text message. Yes, I know. This is the factory tow hook that came with the car. And, you know, because I'm just going so fast on the track all the time in this car, you know, I'm constantly getting pulled off because I'm just going too fast. I'm braking my car every 5 seconds, you know, because of how fast I'm going. So I leave my tow hook bolted on in the front at all times, because you just never know, right? Yeah, so I anti-seized it so it doesn't get stuck in there like all of them do, because it's steel and aluminum. So I anti-seized the crap out of it, shoved that in there. Another thing, I don't know if that's a car coming or not. Another thing, headlights are completely stock. It's got like a LED, I think, or something in it. I found some LEDs laying around that are like H11s. I'm gonna see if they work in this car. I'll maybe do like an install video another time. But for right now, I'm going to just leave them as is. I don't know, maybe, I don't know, whatever. I polished them. They were really faded before. I did a video like a long time ago with like a cheap turtle wax headlight cleaning restoration kit that didn't end up lasting. It lasted like 2 weeks and then it faded again. I had them polished and clear coated. They're still cracking and chipping. They're just not in great shape. Maybe I'll get different ones eventually, maybe not. I don't want to get LEDs. I'll probably just get OEM looking ones and then put regular bulbs in it. I don't care much for the modern day, like everyone gets like the LED strips in them and stuff like that. On a car like this, I'd rather not. I feel like it's older. I want to keep it more to the year of the car and not more modern. So I'll probably get one with like a clear housing instead of like the gray housing in the back. Kind of that like clear and red Euro spec style headlight, taillight assembly. I like that more. I feel like that would fit the car better. Castor oil. You know, in the late 90s or mid to late 90s or just mid 90s in general, how the Celicas, actually no, it was the 80s and 90s. It was the Celica GT4 cars that had the whole castrol, castrol, is it castor oil? Is it castrol? Castrol? Is it castrol? Castrol. They used to have the whole castrol, you know, decal wrap back in the day, like overlay on the Celicas, and those cars were white. I figured since this is kind of close to that, just because of the fact that it's white and it's a Toyota, that I wanted to get a decal that's like that. I did want to wrap my Celica with the full castor oil decal set, which I found online for like $400. The problem is I don't want half the set. What I would want to do is I just want the red and I want to replace the green with gold, and I want the same look of a Celica GT4 rally car, but I don't want the green on the black car. I want gold and red. So maybe on the 94, I have a 95 Celica GT. Maybe on my 95 Celica GT, you'll see a video of me doing the full GT4 decal set, and I'll see if I can get gold vinyl sheets, and maybe if I buy the kit, I can put a marker or something on the overlay, like overlay it on top and mark it out, and I can cut my own decals of it, and I'll save the green ones, and maybe I'll put some of the green ones on this car. I don't know. I feel like the green, red, and white go better on a white car than it would on a black car. So I just felt, this is actually a really expensive decal. I think I paid like $30-something for this one. It's like it was a really high quality decal. Like this thing was like heavy duty, probably never gonna fade ever. Yeah, so figured put that right there, just like they did back in the 90s. Still got the fats, spats. I meant to say like little lip splitters, but I said fats. Little spats and corners and spat. Got the same brush underguard stuff thing on the bottom. The grills used to be gray, like a light gray. I painted them black. All the tabs were broken, so I Gorilla Glued it in there. There you go. It looks like I'm never turboing this car because I won't be able to take off the grill. Let's hop into the engine bay really quick. Ugh. So, I'm recording, right? I am. All right, so what I got going on here is everything's stock, pretty much. It's just cleaner. So, this is my eBay header. I'll zoom in on that really quick in a second. It's got an eBay header. I had to put a new starter in it. It's got a K&N drop-in filter. It's got the silicone eBay special radiator hoses. I had to put those hoses on because the old ones I do have, but they were a little swollen, and they were a little soft, and when you're on the track and this thing starts to get really hot, you don't want to pop one. Also, the bottom one down here was rubbing on a repair that I made, and it put a little mark in it. So that's a weak spot in your cooling system, and if it ever decides to explode, that's where it's going to blow out, and it's right in front of my front right tire. So if you have coolant blowing out right in front of your front right tire when you're going 100 miles an hour, you're probably going to die. So I fixed that. Also, I did some stuff. I should probably change that serpentine belt at some point. I do have a spare, just in case that one goes. I'm just really not looking forward to changing that one because there's like no room in between on this car. Between the side of the car and the actual engine pulley itself. I made a power steering repair. There was a cooler line that ran in the front over here, but it rots at the hose clamp. So I bypassed it by putting a brake line cutting tool on, by turning it and then cutting it, taking the old line off. And I just did a yoop-de-doo with a hose, a rubber line, and double hose clamped both sides. Good to go, fixed it. It does leak a tiny bit of power steering, but it's never gonna get any worse than that. It's like, because it gets so hot, it just starts to seep past some of the old rubber lines. I'll fix that when it's necessary. I think at some point someone actually put a clutch in this car, because the clutch is like, it feels like brand new when I bought this car. That was another reason why I bought the car, because it just, I'll tell you what I bought the car for in a bit. It just felt good. Like everything, it's like whoever owned this car maintained it. Like I could tell that they actually tried to keep up with maintenance. And I remember when I did the valve cover gasket on this engine, I opened up the top and it was like a brand new engine in there. It wasn't carboned up, it wasn't dirty. It's like someone actually changed their engine oil every 3,000 miles in this car. This engine, you could eat off the top of the top end of this motor when I did the valve cover gasket on it. So yeah, I could tell that somebody actually kept up with the maintenance, and it has 196,000 miles on it, and you can kind of barely tell. It's just in really good shape. I did heat wrap this header with the cheapest heat wrap I could find. It started to fade a little bit. It's turning into like that powdery white. I did put that like spray paint on it, that like header wrap spray paint, so it was all black, but it did start to fade. Also, in a previous video, I did have to cut my transmission to break the starter out of it, because that was the original starter to the car. And what happened is the cone of the starter seized inside my transmission, so I couldn't actually get it out of there. So what I had to do was cut slits in the top of my transmission just to break it into a million pieces. There is a tiny piece of it still sitting somewhere in my transmission. I prayed to God that it wouldn't grind on my flywheel, and it doesn't, so that's good. So yeah, it has a new starter. Battery, this is the AAA battery I bought it with. Yeah, I mean, K&N drop filter. I flushed the brake fluid. I'm running like a higher quality .4 right now for the track. Nothing crazy. I'll show you really quick. All right, so this is what we got going on. The spark plugs I took out of this thing were a little dirty. I cleaned them up a little bit, threw them back in. They work fine. I don't see the point in buying like $90 spark plugs for an extra half a horsepower. I don't really think it's worth it. I got the eBay header with the O2 sensor. It's a little faded now. It looks good though. Looks like a motorcycle. Here are my silicone radiator hoses, whatever, with the factory clamps. That is my power steering repair right there. And see those two hose clamps right at the bottom right there? They were rubbing into my my old radiator hoses because they were just fatter. These silicone ones are a lot skinnier. They're more like, you know, whatever. They conserve a lot of space. I used to not run a thermostat in this car because the old thermostat, I don't think it was good, or I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I thought at the track I just didn't need one. I don't know. The Celica, I don't run a thermostat at all. That thing gets so hot. Black car, big engine. The fans are factory. It has a bigger radiator. That thing just runs so hot all the time, so I don't even run a thermostat. I put the thermostat back in this car. Maybe I want to get a TRD one or like a different Mishimoto one. I don't know. I don't care. It's still got the factory radiator in it, so I decided to just leave it. It's not leaking. Got my super cool zip tie hold down right there because it snapped the bolt when I went to go change. I think I had to take the radiator out of this car for something. I don't remember what, but I think I did. I don't know. I had to change something in this car. There's my starter job. I had to cut slits in the top of the transmission to put the new starter in. K&N drop filter, nothing crazy. Other than that, I really don't have a whole lot. I'll show you a little bit in the interior because there really isn't an interior, so it doesn't really matter. Suspension-wise, I am on Raceland Classic coilovers. They're the black and red, basic, generic, cheapest ones you can buy. They're the classics, so they're the go-to original ones. People shit on Raceland all the time, and I feel like it's car specific. I feel like on some model cars, they don't work at all. I feel like a lot of it's user error, and I feel like on some cars, they just work phenomenally. So far I've had Raceland on 2 cars. One of them was a Miata, I believe it was a Miata, and the other one's this one. Yeah, so I'm on the Raceland Classics. They're non-adjustable. There's no adjustable ride height. You just change the preload on the spring itself to adjust ride height. So I don't know how good of a system that actually is, but it definitely feels okay. They're not super stiff. It actually feels like just a stiffer version of an OEM Plus suspension system for your car. I think they work great. I didn't want to spend $1,200 on, like, I gotta get the BC racing coilovers like every other fucking person. We gotta get the BCs because the BCs, we gotta get the K Fortunatos, we gotta get the, you know, the everything. But I didn't want to go to like max speeding rods or Godspeed coilovers either, because those are actually crap. From what I see, I could be wrong about that. It could be the same deal where it's car specific, but I felt like the Racelands were like kind of a good balance between the both of them. Also, lifetime warranty, so if anything ever happens, I can literally just call them and get another set of them for free, which is amazing for 500 bucks. So I won. It uses the factory top hats off your old struts. So you literally just assemble it. It comes with the springs, the shocks, and everything. You assemble your top hat on the top, set your ride height, throw them on the car, and you're good to go. It has a deleted front sway bar. So a problem I had is that this thing used to understeer like crazy. A lot of it is because of tire grip itself. You know, it just didn't have a whole lot of grip in the front. It still doesn't, but right now it has very minimal actual understeer. It's not as bad as it used to be. A lot of the understeer that happens now is because of the lack of tire grip, but removing that sway bar helps the float, like kind of like the rotation of the you know, the control arms. It doesn't lock them together. So removing the front sway bar on a front wheel drive car on the track kind of helps the whole oscillation of your front suspension. Gives you a little bit more front end traction. It's just allowing your tires to actually stick to the road a little bit better. So it's got a deleted front sway bar. Like I said, I forgot the name of the brake pad company, but it's got like a race brake pad in the front, just pad, stock rotors. I put them on a brake lathe. So it's just stock rotors. Same thing with the rears. It's got like so the thing about the rears on a front wheel drive car that I've noticed, when you're at the track, a lot of these Toyotas have brake bias issues. When you slam on the brakes, it locks up the rears first before it does the fronts. This car is not as bad because it's ABS, but what happened is on the rear of this car, the factory pads that I used, that were the cheapest ones I could find, would get so hot that they would just disintegrate and turn into like just dust, and they're pretty much essentially pointless. So what I wanted was a low friction pad that was able to withstand a lot of heat, but didn't have a whole lot of clamping force. So that's what I did to kind of compensate for the brake bias in the rear, and then I put the really grippy, cool, aggressive pad in the front to kind of, you know, help balance everything out. Rear suspension wise, it's all factory. It's got the factory sway bar in it. I don't know if I want to put a bigger rear sway bar. I feel like the car doesn't need any more rear end rotation. If anything, it just needs more front grip. It doesn't really need to rotate more, as if right now at this level I don't really feel like it's necessary. This car is kind of just like an everyday kind of car, weekend warrior. It helps when the Celica is broken. It kind of just, so far it's never left me stranded. It's a good car. I've never had a single problem with it. I've driven it to the track and back, and it's been fine every single time. It's just a good car. I like it a lot, and it's just proven to be very reliable. It's not going to last forever though. Underneath of it, it has a lot of rust, and I mean, it's on the rear subframe. It's not that it's rotted. It's just really just not. It's like right at that limit where I wish I could have some like kind of POR kind of sealer, and then encapsulate the rust so it stops. It's like right at that limit to where I'm not comfortable with it, but I am at the same time. If it had any more than it did, I probably wouldn't even own this car right now. But I figured, I bought this car for $3,000. Now I might have overpaid. I also might have not have overpaid. I feel like I wouldn't have spent any more than $3,000. Maybe because the guy was asking 34. And then I said, well, how about 25? How about 28? I'll give you 3. I'll give you 3 even. I'm not giving any more than 3. It's not worth any more than 3. I see a lot of these for sale, kind of $4,000 and $2,000 range. So 3 is kind of in the middle. I wouldn't do any more than 3 for these cars. That's pretty much all they're worth right now at any mileage. $3,000, you want a Scion TC. My girlfriend bought hers for $1,900. I still can't get over it. And it's rust-free. Florida car, completely rust-free. This thing is immaculate. I was almost considering letting her have my car, and I'll take her car and start over again because of how good a shape it was. I mean, like, nothing was seized. Everything just worked smoothly on it. It does grind a little in third gear. That's a problem on TCs, is the third gear synchros always go out, and they just have a little kind of when they go into third. But if you kind of grandma it and put it in neutral and then put it in third, it doesn't. But you want to bank shift third, you're probably going to grind. This one doesn't. That's why I figured it was another good buy. Like I said, it's got the new clutch. It handles pretty good. It's reliable. I don't need to set any records in it. It just is a helpful car, and it kind of just does a little bit of everything. Eventually, if I could ever, I don't know, I always wanted to see if maybe I'll put this back on factory suspension and put a set of Steelies and snow tires on it and mud flaps and go rally cross racing with it. But I feel like I would just destroy it in rally. So I don't know, maybe I'll get another car. I have another car that I'm thinking about. Maybe I'll do it with the Celica. I feel like the Celica would be better. The problem is they're all front wheel drive. They're all open diff. The front of the Celica is not super nose heavy, but it makes a little bit too much power. I don't know, like it just doesn't, I don't know. So far nothing has exactly, and none of my cars have emergency brakes because the backing plates are all rotted, so I ended up having to remove all the hardware and stuff out of them anyway. This is a very New England-like thing, and you just learn to work around all that if you want a decent car. Let me show you the interior really quick. All right, what we got going on in the interior after I take the key out of the ignition. We have Scion FRS seats. They did not bolt up. I had to change over the factory brackets of the car and screw them in and make my own. They were not even close. So I had to, I mean, I don't even want to look at them. I put these in very shoddily. I'm not proud. They bolt up good and they're fine. They're solid. But if I had to do it again, I'd probably get metal tabs and stuff like that. This is really my first time actually trying to do it the right way. Or first time trying to do it in general. So, I mean, there you go. Scion FRS seats. They got good bolstering in them. These were gifted to me, so they were essentially free, and I ended up just bolting them in the car. The factory Scion seats don't have any, like, lateral, G-force hold you in the seat. But, I mean, this works fine. All this is pretty much stock. Floor mats, stock. Everything's stock. Stock steering wheel, stock shifter. It doesn't have a short throw in it. It's just stock. Everything is stock, except for that sticker. I got it at Dunkin' Donuts. Phenomenal. Even the radio stock. I have like a little receiver in there so I can play my phone radio. Everything's just stock, and I try to keep it as clean as possible. I do maybe want to put a short throw on it, but I don't think I want to change like the shifter boot. Everyone puts like the red shifter boot and the Dragon Ball Z ball shifter. I think I just want to leave the stock shifter. I don't feel the need to do that. It's got the tan top, gray. I don't want to change the wheel because the cruise control actually works. I actually quite like the stock steering wheel. It's fine. I don't want to put a race one in it. I feel like I don't know. I don't feel like it. I don't want to. You can't make me. Let's hop in the rear really quick. These are all my tools I take to the track. Spare parts, screws and jumper packs. Those rotors I have to put on a lathe as a backup. These are just all my tools. The rear interior is completely gutted. It didn't really save that much weight other than for the rear seat. Everything else kind of weighed not much. I mean, yeah, it's not bad. You know, I bet this car could be a consistent 129 car at Thompson, but the last time I went to the track, my girlfriend was sitting in the passenger seat with me, so it kind of offset the weight. So she was acting as more of like a ballast, but it kind of probably made me just not be able to get the under sub 29 consistently. Not saying you're fat, I promise. I'm just saying, you know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, this this is it right here. It's all gutted, all these tools. It does feel a lot more nimble without all the heavy crap in the back. But usually the rear of the car actually sits a lot higher, but all the stuff in the back makes it sit a lot lower. It actually helps, which is good, because having it fully loaded makes it sit where I want it to sit, and I'm always usually fully loaded. But this is the car. You know, nothing crazy. It is good when it sits higher too, because when you accelerate, it kind of squats the rear a little bit. So I mean, it's good. It does the job. All right, well, I think that is pretty much everything that has to do with this car. I have run this car at Palmer, and I have run this car at Thompson. I have run more times at Thompson. So far, I've been to 13 track days. What I'm trying to do, what my ultimate goal is with these cars, is I'm trying to run every single track as possible. I'm trying to be an all-around good driver. The only reason why I'm doing any of this stuff is because I want to drive cars, and I want to like probably start competing at some point. It's just so expensive. So everything I do is on a budget, including this car. None of the cars I have are competable already, but I like to do these things because I think it's fun. I'm trying to become a more versatile driver. Right now, I'm really focusing on road course stuff. I do want to do some autocross. I do want to do drifting. There are some rallycross events not too far from here. I want to be a very versatile. I want to do drag racing. I want to do pretty much every form of racing there is. And I feel like cars like this is a good start. And then I can kind of continue on and move from there. So this car can consistently run like a 131 at Thompson. Now, if you're doing anything under a sub 130, you're moving pretty decently fast at Thompson. The Celica, so far, my most fastest lap I've done was a low 126. I know the car can consistently do a 125 if I had a decent enough open track, and the fastest recorded optimal lap, whereas is all my sector times, my best sector times together, is a 124.7. But consistently the car can do 126s, 125s. If I had, it could do 126s with moderate traffic, 126, 127. Without any traffic, it could probably do a consistent 125s. Now, and I'm talking like full-blown balls to the wall, and with my car driving experience, it can do mid to higher 124s. This car, I have not been able to consistently crack under sub 130. I will hit 130 and do it pretty consistently. Even with the new setup with the wheels and tires, it just wasn't enough to do a sub 129 constantly. Right now, this car loves to hover at 130, 131, 132. I mean, it's not fast. This thing is not setting any records. It's just, it putts around, it does its job. It, like, after the last track day when I went with my Celica, and then the Celica ended up breaking, of course, like it always does. That's why I have this car. This thing is literally like taking a vacation when you go and drive it. It is not fast. It doesn't need to be fast, but it just like, the other car was like fighting me the whole time, and I'm just like muscling it out. This one's nice. You can steer with one finger. It's got power steering, and I'm just like taking turns as fast as possible. I'm not worried about it. It's got ABS. I can stop as hard as I want. It doesn't care. This car does not care. That is the purpose of its like living existence. It just does its job, and it does its job really well. It's fairly consistent. I don't think I've ever, like, the problem is this car, all this car wants to do is be consistent. Like, usually my Celica lap times are a little all over the place because the car is super inconsistent. This 131, 131, 130, 131, 131, 129. I did hit a 129, a low 129 optimal lap time, but the temperature was perfect out. The brakes weren't that hot yet. The tires weren't that hot yet, like too overly heated. And it was just the perfect conditions and all around aspect. So that's another reason why. If this thing actually had a decent set of tires on it, a lot of it is the tire grip. I'm buying like the cheapest stuff I can possibly find for this car, other than for free, or like, because I don't want it to look ratty. I could probably do it for way cheaper than what I'm doing. The car would just look ratty, and I wouldn't like it as much. I feel like this is a balance between, is that a person? I don't know. I feel like this is just a good balance between budget and spending a little bit of money just to do the tasteful stuff to make it come full circle. But yeah, so this is where I'm at. If I could get a really proper 100 tread wear tire or 200 tread wear tire, like an RE71R or like a Dureza or a Proxy, or I don't know, some kind of like an NT05 or something, like a decent tire, this thing would do consistent sub 130s. But right now, this is where it's at. I'm gonna leave the video off there. Thank you for watching. If you liked, subscribe. Peace out. I drove it here on a dirt road. So I got a little ways before I hit like pavement. It is a car. But yeah, so I drove it here on a dirt road. Yeah, 196,000 miles. Airbag lights on, tire pressure light, check engine light. Soon the ABS light's gonna come on because I have to remove one of the sensors to give to another person that I ended up breaking their sensor by accident. So they're gonna take mine. So all the lights are on. Windshield's cracked, but we're good. We're good.